Hello, a very good evening to all of you. I am Mahan Pratap Singh. Welcome to my channel News Simplified. As I have already told you, this channel is meant for discussing with you on major topics of the day. The world is producing one or the other major topic every day, but some topics dominate the headlines and remain current throughout year and so many years as well. It means they are always important to talk about. Here in this video, I am going to talk to you about changing geopolitical scenario or the shifting paradigm in geopolitics. What is geopolitics? Geopolitics is a compound word combining two words. One is geography and the other is politics. It's a diplomatic word in which geography and politics are interconnected. No country in the world can dream of a geographically and diplomatically disconnected world. They are aligned with one another for one or the other region. This is in a way, a globalized world where geographical distance doesn't matter much. You must have to maintain a kind of a relationship with countries which are kilometers away from your boundaries, from your territories. Let us talk about the changing paradigm shift in geopolitics. Afghanistan, India, and world. First of all, we will talk about Afghanistan, India, and world. As you all know, on 15th of August 2021, the Taliban took over Afghanistan. The then President Hamid Karzai had to flee from Afghanistan. How this event happened? It was not a one day event. Its build up had been quite gradual. When America realized that in its fight against terror, it has splurged a lot of money and its physical policies are criticized by the Americans themselves. They thought to leave Afghanistan to its fate and wrap up from there. Gradually, parts of Afghanistan were being taken over by the Taliban's, and on 15th of August 2021, they overthrew Hamid Karzai and took over the capital city of Kabul. Since then, there has been a lot of change in perceptions towards Taliban. Initially, Taliban was isolated because of the anti-women and hardcore Islamist ideologies it followed. They were particularly not allowing women to receive education. They were not allowing them to go out of homes and take up jobs outside. All these restrictions on women were criticized all over the world. Their hardcore Islamist policies were also criticized by the world. And but what happened? A vacuum was created after the Americans left the place, Afghanistan. Slowly but steadily, countries began to establish their closeness, their proximity with Afghanistan due to more than one or two or few regions. There may be many of them behind the establishment of ties and relationship with Taliban. First of all, it was Russia which started friendly overtures with Afghanistan. Then came China. In 2023, China allowed Afghanistan embassy in its country. Consular services started between the two, and one by one, so many of the countries in the world, including India, began to recognize Taliban regime. Even though there is no official recognition of Taliban regime on the part of India or Russia, but the affairs and the businesses are going on as they were going on in the past when democratically elected Hamid Karzai was at the helm of the country before the Taliban took over. They are normalizing ties very fast. The foreign minister of Taliban is visiting India, Amir Khan Mottaki. He is visiting India. One thing very crucial that had happened is Bagram Air Base demand on the part of the Trump administration. US President Donald Trump has demanded Bagram Air Base from Taliban. Taliban has outrightly rejected to concede to the demand of Bagram Air Base. They don't want any interference on their soil on the part of USA, but they urgently need it. Bagram Air Base is one of the launching pads against the terrorists when the US was operating from the soil of Afghanistan against the terrorists. But why is Bagram Air Base so important from the American point of view? It is strategically located. It can cover parts of Central Asia, South Asia, West Asia, and even it can have a close look on the activities of Russia and China both. This is why Mr. Donald Trump has renewed his interest in Bagram Air Base. This is what is happening in Afghanistan today. Let us have a look at recent shift in ties with China and India. Since the US administration clamped tariff on 90% of the world, China first and then India came in direct conflict with the USA. The rising economic uh, boom in China is something that America cannot digest so easily. America doesn't want a country to stand by it in its and challenge its stature. That is why um, it started its protectionist approach since Donald Trump took over as president in the second time. Trump started American nationalism and MAGA campaign, which propelled him to power, also demanded from him to be strictly nationalistic and protectionist in his approach so far as its economic relations with other countries are concerned. So, China and India were the first targets of US tariffs. China suffered, but ultimately, US has to buckle under Chinese pressure because the critical minerals supply chain was disrupted and they are so necessary for the normal operation of their the industries in America. EVs are need China magnets, and China dominates 90% magnet supply in the world. Here came a shift in relations with India and China. We have a border dispute with China, but during times when there is a crisis, economic crisis, as imposed by the unilateral tariffs by the US administration, this closeness started between the two countries. Since Galwan happened in 2020, India China relations had soured, but of late they have renewed congenial, cordial relationships. A congenial atmosphere has been put in place in relationships with China. Air travel has been made easy, and more visas are issued to the nationals of both the countries on the part of both the countries. We are going to have greater cultural exchanges in near future. Tourist visas will be more liberally offered to the nationals of both the countries. These are some of the changes that have occurred of late. Since both the countries are members of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa group. There are 10 countries in the BRICS. India and China are one of them. Now, BRICS is actually in direct confrontation with USA because of its policies of de-dollarization and the promotion of local currencies. They want to trade in local currencies. They want to trade in yuan and rupee and ruble instead of carrying on the weight of dollar. And this is what Donald Trump is particularly apt. He has threatened dire consequences if they move on this path. So, BRICS common ground with India and China. Although we don't like China's proximity with Pakistan. Pakistan has always been sponsoring terrorism and unleashing terror acts from time to time. That is why we didn't like China. Due to that, we have had BRICS summits recently. Last year in 2024, October this month, BRICS summit was held in Kazan, Russia. In 2025, it took place in July this year in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And you have also seen Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet in Tianjin, China. These groupings are a matter of concern for US administration and the President of America, Donald Trump. He doesn't like that these countries, these groups can challenge its hegemony, its uh, unipolar hegemony in the world, because these countries promote multilateralism, a multipolar world. That is why America doesn't like groups like BRICS and countries like China and India. Although India has always been a strategic partner of USA, we have been had been more close to USA than China. Our ties have always been normal and deep with Russia. You already know about that. Let us talk about US and Pakistan relationship of late. United States and Pakistan have had a roller coaster ride so far as their relationships are concerned. In the first term of US President Donald Trump, he almost snubbed Pakistan on all occasions. They didn't invite Pakistani Prime Minister to the White House. Pakistan suffered a lot, and it continued during the tenure of Joe Biden. But after coming to power, the next time, it means this year, Mr. Donald Trump has shown his keen interest towards Pakistan. There are so many reasons for that. It is said that he wants to promote cryptocurrency business of his family by encouraging the Pakistanis to invest in cryptocurrencies. It is said that Pakistan holds oil and gas reserves in its uh, soil and critical minerals as well. That is why Pakistan is a newfound love for the Americans. The reasons can be so many, but one thing is clear: US wants a control on China. India cannot allow its territories to be used against any other country, any other operation. But as you know, relations between China and Pakistan had always been normal because of the India angle. China wants control over India, and India, if engaged with Pakistan, if in conflict with Pakistan, can be a matter of consolation for China. That is why they have always been promoting the Pakistanis. They have had shared close proximities. But this scenario is changing very fast. As you know, there is a Gwadar port. It's some 100 kilometer away from Karachi, and this Gwadar port is China-backed port. China has installed its military facilities in Gwadar. Gwadar is Chinese operated port in the Balochistan province of Pakistan. Here, one thing new has happened. Pakistan has offered Pasni one small port near Gwadar to Americans. They have given access to Pasni port to the Americans. There has been a deal between the two uh, countries, US and America. America will use the port for mining, for transporting its critical minerals from Pakistan to America. This is why it has been offered to the Americans by the Pakistan government. Uh, you may call it a Pakistan government or a government of the military, because here uh, Asim Munir, the self-proclaimed field marshal, is reigning supreme in the country. So this is the scenario. This is the changed picture now in Pakistan. Let us come to US and EU relationship. United States and European Union had always been close, very close. The West and America enjoyed a sound relationship, but there is a friction. The ties have frayed somewhat because of the protectionist approach on the part of USA. The US administration views its funding to NATO as a economic burden. They want to shelve it. They want to do away with it or minimize it. They want to encourage or you force the European countries who are the members of NATO to contribute to the NATO fund. It cannot unilaterally or on its own resources support NATO. So there are friction points, but since the EU, European Union countries, are heavily dependent on US economy for more than a few reasons, there are multiple reasons for that. And because of those reasons, there cannot be a suppression, there cannot be something that can hamper the economic prospects of both the regions, Americans and the European Union countries. Let us come to one more geopolitical paradigm shift. Since 7th of October 2023, when Israel was attacked by the Hamas terrorists, almost 1200 people had been killed and 251 people had been taken as hostages. Israel has been pounding Gaza and it is not ready to negotiate on Palestinian state, a separate Palestinian state. It is adamant not to talk about that. Both the two countries, America and Israel, don't like the creation of a Palestinian state. As I have already told in my previous videos that there is a 20-point peace plan in uh, as proposed by the two countries for a rehabilitation, resettlement, and a resolution of the Gaza conflict. Will they be peacefully proceeding? Because there are reservations on the part of the Hamas representatives. There are some reservations on the part of Israel itself. They don't want the Hamas organization to be part of any consideration in the rehabilitation and resettlement of the Gaza issue. These are the changed scenarios in Israel and the Middle East. As you know, America has always tried to knit Israel in the Middle East region. It has always relied on Israel as its best partner. It has encouraged Arab countries to have good ties with Israel. But after the attack, they have soured, as I have already told you in my previous videos. There had been Abraham Accord in process before the terrorist attack on Israel took place on 7th of October 2023. According to this Abraham Accord, four countries which has already signed to have diplomatic relations with Israel. This Abraham Accord was going to be furthered by one more deal with the uh, United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. But this new development derailed that. There is also an Indian interest at stake because of that. What is the Indian interest at stake? It is the India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor IMEEC, which is which has been derailed of late. It gave India access to Europe through Saudi Arabia and Israel. It was going to be linked by rail to Europe, and it was seen to be a financial jackpot by most, even India and Israel and US administration. But that has been jeopardized by the recent developments, the bombings of by Israel on Gaza, the tension that is prevailing in the Middle East. It has taken a heavy toll on that. Will they come on track? The time will tell. And we hope the relations between the two countries will normalize in future. India will also be able to safeguard its interest in the region. And with this hope, I want to finish this video. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching my video. I want to appeal to you to promote my channel so that it reaches so many of the civil services aspirants who are preparing exams by choosing English as a medium of their exam. If they will have my videos, they will benefit a lot. I believe it very firmly, and I will be encouraged to work harder to give you better content in future. I have already talked on all these issues in my previous videos. Please go to my videos and watch them. You will certainly find them good enough for your preparations. Thank you.